This is Nightline and I'm Sabrina Zainal. News making the headlines. Malacca political turmoil, UMNO prepares to go to polls if state assembly dissolves. And heterologous mix and match approach to be taken for booster vaccine shots. Good morning. We begin with our headline story. The Malacca UMNO is prepared to go to the polls in order to solve the current political crisis facing the state. This after UMNO President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that the best way to resolve the latest political crisis in Malacca is to hold a state election and let the locals decide on the next state government. However, Malacca UMNO Chairman Datuk Sri Abdul Rauf Yusof says it will be up to the wisdom of the Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Muhammad Ali Rustam to solve the current political impasse.
Terserah kepada Tun. Sama ada nak dibubar ataupun tidak dalam suasana ini, kebijaksanaan Tun untuk mengimbagi kepentingan rakyat dalam waktu kita menghadapi suasana tekanan politik ini.
Speaking at a media conference together with embattled Chief Minister Datuk Sri Sulaiman Mad Ali, Datuk Sri Rauf also lamented the betrayal in the withdrawal of support by the 4 state assemblymen led by former Chief Minister Datuk Sri Idris Harun. He added that Sungai Udang State Assemblyman Datuk Sri Idris and Pantai Kundur Assemblyman Datuk Nur Azman Hassan have been stripped of their UMNO membership following their declaration of their intention to withdraw support for the present state government led by Datuk Sri Sulaiman. Meanwhile, the Malacca Chief Minister said that at the moment, the state government's administration was still running as usual.
Dan mereka juga membuat kerja yang sama, tapi akhirnya mereka meruntuhkan di mana kita baru beralih ke fasa yang ketiga. Jadi tujuan dan matlamat kita untuk kerjasama bagi memulihkan ekonomi dan juga kesihatan negeri, mereka sendiri yang merobek.
Meanwhile, the Istana Malacca has yet to receive a letter from any political party seeking an audience with the Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Muhammad Ali Rustam over claims that the current state government has lost its majority to govern the state. The Governor's Special Secretary, Datuk Nur Azmi Ahmad, said Tun Muhammad Ali was currently undergoing self-quarantine for 2 weeks starting September 30th following close contact with COVID-19 positive individuals. Sungai Udang Assemblyman Datuk Sri Idris Harun and 3 other state lawmakers have declared that they have lost confidence in the leadership of Datuk Sri Sulaiman. The 3 others are Pantai Kundur Assemblyman Datuk Nur Azman Hassan of UMNO, Teluk Mas Assemblyman Nur Effendi Ahmad from Parti Pribumi Bersatu, and independent lawmaker Datuk Nur Hizam Hassan Bakti. Datuk Sri Idris, who is former Malacca Chief Minister, said the withdrawal of support was because of their distrust in what they claimed as the state government's flip-flop decisions, while some decisions taken were not implemented properly.
Kami telah pun hilang kepercayaan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Sulaiman Muhammad Ali selaku Ketua Menteri dan seluruh barisan kepimpinan kerajaan pada hari ini. Kami berempat telah pun menyerahkan surat ketidakpercayaan kami, menarik balik sokongan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Sulaiman Muhammad Ali.
The assemblyman claimed that with this, the current Malacca state government has collapsed. Datuk Sri Idris said that both he as well as Datuk Nur Azman are willing to face any disciplinary action from the UMNO leadership for their actions. The Perikatan Nasional Government came into power in March 2020 following the defections of 4 assemblymen from the previous Pakatan state government. Meanwhile, Pakatan Harapan said that it will seek an audience with Tun Muhammad Ali soon to inform that the state government led by Datuk Sri Sulaiman has lost majority support.
Kita sebenarnya kalau kita lihat dalam perlembagaan negeri, kuasa melantik Ketua Menteri itu adalah di bawah bidang kuasa Tuan Yang Terutama Tun.
Ini dalam untuk membincangkan beberapa nama mungkin sebelum akan dipersiapkan.
Nanti kita akan bertemu dulu dengan Tuan Yang Terutama Tun bagi mencari dan berbincang untuk kebaikan negeri Melaka itu sendiri.
Melaka PH Chairman Adli Zahari said he will be representing PH Assemblymen, while Datuk Sri Idris will be representing the 4 Assemblymen to meet with Tun Muhammad Ali to discuss what steps should be taken to ensure political stability in the state and continuity of the state administration. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the government will implement policies that will encourage appropriate attitude and behaviour during the endemic period. Now, towards that, the people will have clear standard operating procedures, SOPs, and in return, they will once again enjoy social and economic activities in line with the clear direction of the government's strategy.
We are now refusing to allow this virus to dominate and disrupt our lives and society. To do this, we must be prepared to accept that we can no longer return to the carefree normality of the past. Instead, we must define for ourselves what the working conditions in living in an endemic scenario should be.
He said this in his welcome speech at the Megatrends 2021 Khazanah Nasional's virtual forum on Monday. The government also often reviews the measures implemented based on the current pandemic situation in the country. The Prime Minister, who is also the chairman of Khazanah Nasional, said the government was not afraid to implement bold and difficult actions in the implementation of SOPs, movement control measures, self-isolation and restriction mandatory quarantine. He also noted that the 2022 budget will immediately address all fiscal issues. In the meantime, a heterologous mix and match approach will be taken for those eligible for booster vaccine shots. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said that following a study on its safety, a recommendation has been made to the government to proceed with the heterologous vaccination plan, which is the use of a vaccine different from the original vaccine received by an individual. Khairi said this approach will allow for a different vaccine to be administered as the booster dose and not necessarily using the same vaccine which the individual was given during initial vaccination.
Heterologous vaccination ataupun vaksinasi dengan menggunakan vaksin yang berbeza, Jawatan Kuasa Jaminan Akses Vaksin pada minggu lepas telah pun bermesyuarat dan Jawatan Kuasa Kecil teknikal yang dipengerusikan oleh Dr. Kalairasu Peresami, pengarah Institut Pendidikan Klinikal, telah pun mengesyorkan kepada Jawatan Kuasa Jaminan Akses Vaksin untuk booster dose ataupun untuk dos penggalak yang kita akan mulakan pada bulan Oktober ini, kita membenarkan heterologous vaccination ataupun vaksin yang boleh dicampur, bukan vaksin yang sama seperti dos pertama dan dos kedua, dan kajian berkenaan dengan keselamatan ini telah pun dilaksanakan dan disyorkan untuk kita teruskan dengan program heterologous vaccination kita.
The Health Minister said this when replying to a question raised by Beaufort MP Dato' Azizah Muhammad Dun in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday. He said this first booster dose is set to begin in Sarawak this month, with senior citizens as the initial target group. To a question by Sempurna MP Dato' Sri Muhammad Shafi'i Abdal on the COVID-19 situation in Sarawak, Khairi said the ministry was concerned with the state still recording a high number of daily cases, even though most of them were from Category 1 to 3. He said several factors may have caused the situation, including the early opening of economic sectors from other states, the effects of vaccinations which may have begun to decline, and the need for booster doses for certain groups. Khairi also noted that there are those who are unable to get vaccinated due to health reasons and advised such individuals to apply for a vaccination exemption notification on their MySejahtera app. However, he stated that this group of individuals would be considered as having a high risk of infection, and as such, they would be subject to strict standard operating procedures. Kyrie earlier in a posting on his Twitter account said about 90% of Form 5 students and 88% of Form 4 students in Education Ministry schools nationwide have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He said as the country reopened schools, it was necessary to ensure that students could return to their schools safely. About 44,000 students in Terengganu, Kelantan and Langkawi, Kedah resumed face-to-face classes on Sunday, while another 94,000 in 10 states were back at schools on Monday. Through the COVID-19 National Immunization Program for Adolescents, the government is targeting 60% of teenagers between the ages of 12 and 17 to get at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine by November, and 80% of them to be fully vaccinated before schools open for the 2022 session. Meanwhile, Pharmaniaga Berhad on Monday stressed that the Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine is safe for children and adolescents, with more than 63 million doses administered to individuals aged 12 to 17 in China. Its Group Managing Director, Dato' Zulkarnain Mat Yusof, said the vaccine has been widely administered to the younger population in China, and to date, there has been no record of any safety risk following vaccination. In a statement on Monday, the company said the adverse events following immunization, or AEFI, analysis of the 63 million adolescents who have received the Sinovac vaccine in China suggests that the vaccine has an overall good safety profile. The statement added that the data collected were mainly routine injection site events with normal symptoms such as dizziness and nausea, which is very mild in nature. Pharmaniaga, the sole distributor of the Sinovac vaccine in Malaysia, noted that earlier on Monday, Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah announced that the Drug Control Authority had approved the use of the Sinovac vaccine for children and adolescents aged 12 to 17. A popular hotel in Langkawi, Kedah has been ordered to close temporarily after more than 50 of its staff tested positive for COVID-19. According to State Health Director Dr. Othman Warijo, the infections, totaling 59 hotel personnel, have been categorized under the workplace cluster known as the Dah Teluk Nibung cluster. He said investigations showed that the infection originated from the community and spread to the hotel. A total of 249 individuals involving hotel staff and their family underwent screening following the outbreak. Dr. Othman also said all close contacts have been placed under a home surveillance order for 10 days in an effort to curb the spread of new infections. Langkawi Island, which is the pilot project for the country's travel bubble concept, reopened on September 16th for individuals who had completed 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccination. Still to come, man claims trial to fraudulently concealing 2.9 million ringgit. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Nightline. Those involved in the viral case of an autistic child being allegedly abused at an autism intervention centre in Bandar Baru, Ampang, Selangor must be strictly and appropriately punished. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Rina Muhammad Harun said the case should be promptly investigated to prevent recurrence and as a deterrent to other childcare and intervention centres. Datuk Sri Rina, in a statement on Monday, said her ministry will not compromise with any quarters involved in the abuse or mistreatment of children and would stay committed to enhancing public awareness to protect them. Earlier, the victim's father uploaded pictures and footage of a closed-circuit camera CCTV on social media sites, claiming that his son was beaten at the intervention centre. Commenting further, Datuk Sri Rina noted that interventions from a psychosocial and counselling point of view will be given by registered counsellors to the parents and children involved. This measure will be taken to ensure the emotional welfare and well-being of children and families are not affected and protected. The Singaporean suspect, who was also the manager of the intervention centre, was arrested on Saturday. An attempt to smuggle 1.3 million cigarettes worth 1.2 million ringgit into the country was foiled by the Southeast Brigade of the General Operations Force in two separate raids last week. The raids were carried out in Manik Yurai, Kelantan and Sungai Tong in Terengganu. The first raid on Saturday resulted in the seizure of 400,000 cigarettes from a lorry which was parked at a petrol station in Manik Yurai. The driver of the lorry, a 37-year-old local man, was detained to assist in investigations. Investigations found that the man had 3 previous records involving drugs and motorcycle theft. In the second raid in situ, authorities seized a truck which had been abandoned at a food court at Sungai Tong. Further inspection on the vehicle led to the discovery of some 900,000 cigarettes. The case is currently being investigated under the Customs Act. In other news, a policeman and a teenager were charged at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court with drug trafficking. The duo were charged with jointly distributing ecstasy-type pills weighing 181.95 grams last month. 27-year-old Harithis Chilia, a lance corporal assigned to the Labu police station in Negeri Sembilan, and 19-year-old Darshan Parmasival, who works as a part-time runner, were accused of committing the offence in the parking lot of a healthcare centre in South Key City at 9:45 p.m. on September 23rd. For the offence, they were charged under Section 39B, subsection 1A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 and can be punished under Section 39B, subsection 2 of the same Act and read together with Section 34 of the Penal Code, which carries the mandatory death penalty upon conviction. Both nodded their heads when asked if they understood the charge after it was read out in front of Magistrate Suhaila Shafiuddin. No plea was recorded from either of the accused. The judge set December 5th, 2021 for mention of the case and for the submission of the chemistry report. In Negeri Sembilan, a senior citizen pleaded not guilty in the Seremban Sessions Court to 172 counts of fraudulent concealment of money, totaling 2.9 million ringgit between 2016 and last year. 63-year-old Lai Ching Wai made the plea before Judge Diana Mat Razali. He was charged with concealing the money made in several transactions involving 4,000 to 90,000 ringgit that were deposited by Ariel Mix Sendirian Berhad into 4 bank accounts that were registered under the name of the accused. The offence was allegedly committed at 4 banks in Seremban between April 26, 2016 and June 2nd last year. The charges were framed under Section 424 of the Penal Code, which provides an imprisonment for up to 5 years or a fine or both if found guilty. The court allowed bail of 58,000 ringgit and set December 2nd for remention. Shah Rukh Khan's son arrested in Mumbai cruise drugs case. The details and more when we return.
We're back with the foreign front. As Fumio Kishida gets sworn in as Japan's 100th Prime Minister on Monday, his new cabinet team will also start work. Kishida's new administration features only 2 ministers who retained their posts, while 13 rookie cabinet ministers have joined in an apparent attempt to provide a fresh image.
All cabinet members of Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga's administration resigned on Monday morning, paving the way for Kishida to announce a lineup that he hopes can cement his identity as a politician. Only 3 women were included, up from 2 in Suga's government. Kishida also created a new cabinet post aimed at tackling the economic dimensions of Japan's national security. An urgent task at home will be turning around his party's sagging popularity, hurt by Suga's perceived high-handedness on the pandemic and other issues. He'll also have to ensure Japan's healthcare systems, vaccination campaign, and other virus measures are ready for a possible resurgence of COVID-19 in the winter, while gradually normalizing social and economic activity.
The popular mayor of the Philippine capital, Francisco Dumagoso, registered his candidacy for the presidency in next year's elections on Monday. Also known by his screen name, Isko Marino, he declared his bid at a public school in an impoverished neighborhood near where he grew up. In his speech, Dumagoso also promised to ease coronavirus outbreaks, fix the country's battered economy, and heal deep political divisions. The 46-year-old, who grew up in Manila's slums and at one point scavenged for food as a child, is expected to bank on his rags to power life story, movie star looks, and widely praised projects in Manila, including restoring order in its chaotic streets and public markets. The former actor is one of several aspirants in what is expected to be a crowded and politically hostile race to succeed Rodrigo Duterte. The next leader stands to inherit enormous problems led by the pandemic, which caused the country's worst economic recession. Moving on, Swedish cartoonist Lars Vilks, known for his blasphemous depiction of Islam's Prophet Muhammad, has died in a car accident. The 75-year-old, who lived under police protection after his 2007 depiction of the Prophet Muhammad, and 2 police officers were killed in a collision with an oncoming truck. In a statement, the police said the cause of the accident was unclear, but there was no suspicion of foul play. The crash caused both vehicles to catch fire and the truck driver was hospitalized. Vilks had been under police protection since his 2007 caricature of Prophet Muhammad that prompted outrage among Muslims and sparked diplomatic friction. Sweden's then Prime Minister, Fredrik Reinfeldt, had to meet with ambassadors from several Muslim countries to ease tensions.
Well, the basic intention was just to participate.
Over in India, actor Dato' Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, was denied bail on Monday after his sensational arrest in the Mumbai drugs on cruise case on Sunday. The 23-year-old was sent to the custody of Anti-Drugs Agency Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB, till Thursday by a Mumbai court. According to NCB, the charges brought against Aryan include purchase, possession, and use of banned substances. During the bail hearing, the anti-drug agency had initially sought custody of those arrested until October 5th, but Aryan's lawyer, Satish Maneshinde, however, demanded bail, saying that his client had been arrested only on the basis of chat messages. The high-profile raid on Sunday yielded 13 grams of cocaine, 21 grams of charas, 22 pills of ecstasy, and 5 grams of MD.
We're under attack!
Bayern Munich suffer first home defeat since 2019. Sports coming up next. Sports football, the German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich have suffered their first league loss at home since 2019 as Eintracht Frankfurt came from behind to beat the defending champions 3-1. The Bavarians opened the scoring in the 29th minute when Leon Goretzka turned home a through pass from Robert Lewandowski. The goal was, however, cancelled 3 minutes later thanks to a thumping header from Martin Hinteregger following a corner from Filip Kostic. Kostic then emerged the hero for the visitors as he struck a low shot from a tight angle in the 83rd minute to seal their first win over Bayern Munich since 2000. With the result, Frankfurt climbed to 13th in the league standings after 7 matches, while Bayern are tied with Bayer Leverkusen with 16 points, but still on top by goal difference. Elsewhere, Patrick Schick scored twice as Bayern Leverkusen thrashed hosts Arminia Bielefeld 4-0 on Sunday to move up into second place in the league standings. Moussa Diaby broke the deadlock in the 18th minute with a well-struck first-time shot before Schick doubled Leverkusen's lead 6 minutes later after being played through by Florian Wirtz. The Czech Republic international then added the third before the hour mark, heading in a Jeremy Frimpong cross to make it 3-0, with Kerem Demirbay completing the route from the penalty spot in stoppage time to seal a 4-0 win. With the win, Leverkusen now only trail league leaders Bayern Munich on goal difference. A spectacular multimedia and drone show was staged in the eastern German city of Halle on Sunday night to mark the 31st anniversary of Germany's unification. The event saw G. Bischenstein Castle illuminated by 300 colorful lights and 200 drones that formed artistic formations in the sky, all to the sound of music. Take a look. I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and take care.